What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. And I realized this weekend that although I have a lot of videos on the ADX TG from September when I went on the press launch, we actually never did a video of a walkthrough from front wheel to back wheel as we usually do. So this is that video. I just put out about 2 weeks ago the video on the Zontes 368G, the walk around and all the details, and now it's time to do the same treatment to the ADX TG, where we take it from front wheel to back wheel and see exactly what makes this thing so special. Now, starting off at the front, the first thing we notice is the adjustable windscreen. It's a pretty decently sized windscreen. On my ride in Greece, I didn't feel the need for a larger windscreen or a taller windscreen. If you are short or tall, it doesn't matter because you can adjust it. It isn't electrically adjustable, but it is a manual adjustment that's actually quite easy. Exactly as on the SYM 400, you just grab the windshield, you push it on down, now it's in its lowest position, or you pull it back up, and now it's in its highest position. Easy to do. You just have to pull over, do it, and then you're back on the ride. You can even do it while standing on the seat if you have a bit of maneuverability and flexibility. Moving on down, we have the lights. Right up here we have our turn signal indicators, which are LED, and I can turn on the hazard lights. It's pretty sunny outside at the moment. You probably can't see them very well, but they are there and quite visible to the naked eye. Moving on down, we have our daytime running lights in the form of the fangs of a saber-toothed tiger. This is the entire motif of the design of this scooter. It's the saber-toothed tiger, the prehistoric creature. So we have the fangs right here, and we have the eyes right here, with our high and low beams both on LED, and also our daytime running lights on LED. Moving on down, right behind the front wheel, but pretty high up mounted, we have our radiator right here. We can see our upside down fork, 41mm front fork. It has quite a lot of suspension travel if we look at where the dust has set. Front wheel is a Maxxis tire running on a 15-inch rim, 120 by 70 by 15. And the front brake disc is a single brake disc up front, 275mm with a 4-piston caliper and front ABS. Moving along the scooter to the right-hand side, we can see our floorboards right here with a lot of positions for the rider's foot. You can actually have it right up here. You can have it right here up a little bit up front. You can have them back here so you can ride standing. You can actually raise yourself up. It's an interesting design. They haven't gone with specific foot pegs for the rider, but this little thing here is actually pretty well designed, and you have a few rubber nubbins on the floorboard itself so they can grab onto whatever you have on your feet, your boots. You can actually ride it standing pretty comfortably even without rider foot pegs. The seat and the scooter right here is actually quite narrow, the advantages of it being a single cylinder engine. Right up here in the middle we have our single cylinder engine putting out about 35 horsepower and 37 newton-meters of torque. Right behind it is the transmission with our CVT belt and variator. Right up top here is our fuel tank. We have the air intake right here, and we have the battery right here. They have put in a lot of effort to get the entire weight of the scooter, which is 213 kilograms, dry. Wet, it should be around 230. It is a bit hefty, but they have gone to great lengths to put the entire weight of the machine right here in the middle between the two wheels, and everything suspended by the suspension. As we move on further back, we can see our passenger foot pegs right here. They are recessed into the bodywork. We see our exhaust, which is pretty high up, raised so you don't hit it on any kind of rocks or tree stumps, whatever you might encounter on the off-road. And moving around to the back, we can see our real taillight, which again copies the motif of the saber-toothed tiger. This kind of looks more like its ears, its pointy ears. It's our night light and our brake light all in one. We have our turn signal indicators down there. Again, LED. Everything on the scooter is LED. We have our 233mm brake disc with switchable ABS on the back. We have a single piston caliper right here. A 14-inch rear wheel, 150 by 70 by 14. We have our license plate holder and the tail to stop all of the road grime and mud and dirt to from being flung up to the rider. The interesting part about this thing is the entire weight of the scooter is in board, and here on the back we just have a single swing arm, aluminum swing arm, which is actually a little bit lighter than the one on the Maxim TL, and we have extremely reduced unsprung weight compared to any other kind of scooter. And if I take you in a handheld position, we can actually take a look at the rear suspension, if this thing will focus. We have the rear monoshock here on a ProLink style suspension. They call it the monolink. And if you come underneath it and you look, you can see the monoshock right here, and you can see how the swing arm is suspended by this monoshock. The center stand is a little bit in the way, but that is how the rear suspension works. There's probably going to be a lift kit or a lowering kit for it at some point done by somebody, but this is how the rear suspension works. This is something special that you do not see on, I think the only scooters that run something like this is the XADV 750 from Honda, and it's kind of a special suspension setup, and this is what gives this thing its off-road ability. And moving on to the left hand side of the wheel, we can see the final chain drive right here. And to be honest, if you do a lot of off-road, I would take off this plastic cover of the chain so you can clean it. They have left a little bit of room here. Again, center stand in the way. They have left a little bit room here to clean your chain, and a little bit on the back. But to be perfectly honest, I would just take it off and be able to clean my chain whenever I wish. And moving on to the left hand side of the machine, we can see our center stand and our side stand. Also, we get a look here at where the clutch housing is and the chain drive. Again, passenger foot peg recessed. And once again, Hyper VVS is written on all sides of the scooter. This is their variable valve timing for the engine, for the intake cam only. Moving on up to the cockpit view, first of all, we see the keys right here. It's an interesting key with a button to call the scooter. It will flash the lights and honk the horn for you when you lost it in a parking lot, and also a seat popper. And right here, we can take off, let's see if I can do it. We can take off the emergency key that goes under the seat so you can unlock the seat and get to your battery. Right in the middle, we have our USB charger, Quick Charge 3.0 here, just a single USB charger. Right below it is the actual fuel door. Right in the middle between the rider's legs, we can pop it from a button right here. And we have our ignition switch right here, seat popper, fuel door, and the ignition switch. This is a fully keyless system. On our right hand side, we have our front brake, we have our handguard, plastic handguards this time, no metal handguards, so they're more windbreakers than anything else. We have our kill switch right here, we have our engine start button, and that's it for the right, and our mirror. On the left hand side, we have our passing light right here. We do have our hazard lights, high and low beam, turn signal indicators, and horn. And also the levers, both left and right, are adjustable with 4 different settings. In the middle, we can see the exposed handlebar. We can see the front fork coming all the way up here. It isn't an adjustable fork, but it does have a triple tree, so it is a pretty beefy fork. And right here in the middle, we have a little LCD screen, which is actually quite simple, but I think it gets the job done pretty well. So with a close-up view of the display, let's take a look at it. This is its check. We have our idiot lights on the side. We have our speedometer, tachometer, water temperature gauge, fuel gauge, voltage here, total odometer, and we can change everything. So total, trip, oil, and then we go to TCS off. We can turn off the traction control. Units, miles or kilometers, ABS. We can switch to, let's go on the other side. We can switch between ABS on, ABS off, and again ABS on. When ABS is off, it's not completely off. It's just the rear ABS that goes off. And also, if we press the S button, we can switch our voltmeter to a clock. It's a pretty simple display. It's very easy to see in the sunlight. It's no TFT dash with connectivity or anything. They've gone for simplicity on hard roads, on dirt tracks. where you don't have time to mess around with electronics, you don't have time to mess around with your Bluetooth and stuff like that. You just want to ride, you have your revs, you have your speed right here, you have your fuel right here. Very clear indicators of your basic information needs. And lastly but not least, let's take a look at the underseat storage. We press the button and we pop the seat. We lift it up from the front. It's back hinged. It does have a gas strut to hold it up. It does have a light. The underseat storage is actually quite deep. It's only about a helmet big in terms of size, but it is big. I can even fit my 3XL modular helmet in here, no problem. So one single helmet, but it can be as big as you wish and it will fit underneath here. We have our fuse box right here, we have our battery right here, we have our VIN number right here. We also do get, if by some miracle your helmet doesn't fit or you do have a passenger with you, the scooter comes with this strap. You put it around the helmet and then you put it back here like so. It comes to the side. Let's see, get it in shot. It comes to the side and you can close the seat and you can leave the passenger's helmet hanging right here. So it does have options for a second helmet, not necessarily under the seat, but it does give you an option on how to secure your passenger's helmet. In terms of the seat, it is clearly oriented towards the rider. We have a nice shape to the rider's portion. The passenger part of the seat isn't all that bad, but it does have a lot of stitching around here. It has ADX TG written on here. So it's clearly focused to the rider comfort. I haven't had a passenger on the back of an ADX TG to know exactly how it is, but it looks decently comfortable. There is a lot of padding. Hopefully all the stitching doesn't become a problem. You have the passenger grab handles right here, and seat height for the rider is 790 millimeters. I am 175 centimeters tall, not all that long in the legs. Let's get off the center stand and mount the thing. I can hold it up. I don't completely flat foot, but that's no problem. The entire weight of the scooter is right here in the middle, so it's actually quite easy to hold in between your legs. But I want to go into details about this thing, and I want to show you guys and tell you why this thing is so special and give you a bit of an insight why I don't think you can compare it to the Zontes 368G. I'm not saying this is better, and I'm not saying the Zontes is bad. I'm just saying they are so different, it's very hard to compare between them. And for about 90% of people, the Zontes might be the best thing in the world, but for the elite 10% that really want to take this thing off-road, it makes a lot of compromises, as you saw, with the small 13-liter fuel tank and the small underseat storage, but it gives you off-road riding ability, proper off-road riding ability. So, as you saw on the back, there's no license plate. This isn't registered. We're going to take it around the yard. But if you want to see videos of me properly riding it on the open road, you can check out my video from September when I rode this thing for a couple of hours on road and off road. But for now, let's have another little spin on this thing. Engine really sounds nice and grunty. Come on, let's go. Now, the first thing that we notice getting on the ADX TG is just how light it feels when you actually start moving. All of the weight of the thing being right up here. Even though it's a lot of weight, 213 kilograms dry, a lot of people have complained about the weight. Once you get this thing moving, even at the slowest of speeds, you can quite easily balance it out going 0 kilometers to 3 kilometers an hour, one-handed. It is dead easy to balance, and that's one part, the weight distribution and having everything inboard, and the second part is the centrifugal wet clutch, multi-disc wet clutch that gives you such smooth power application, power delivery, and also the engine with its 2 balance shafts. You can't feel any vibrations from the thing. And also the transmission, while being so smooth in the way it applies the power to the rear wheel, once you open it up, it just feels so direct. The engine might be a little bit laggy in the lower RPM, but as soon as you get it in the high RPM, it feels very, very responsive. But the thing with this scooter, it's not necessarily the engine. The engine is good, but it's not impressing me as much as the suspension is. The suspension, and here's a bit of a tip to everybody going to test ride one of these things. If you ride it on in a bumpy yard like this, and you ride it like this at 16, 15 kilometers an hour, you're gonna feel every single bump. Like, let's take it through here. It is very bumpy. Let's go nice and slow on the bumps. Ow, I can feel everything. And you might think, what the hell is up with the suspension? It's supposed to be an off-road suspension. Why is it so rough? It's not meant for you to ride it slowly on stuff like this. This is a bespoke precision machine, and suspension works well when you absolutely cane it. It wants to hit the bumps hard so the suspension can do its job. And yeah, once you get on the power, once you eliminate your fear of the bumps and you realize this thing doesn't have the regular scooter geometry, you can have a lot of fun with it. And just don't mind the bumps. Glides over everything like it isn't even there. And that's the way it's supposed to be ridden. You ride it slow, you're gonna feel every single bump. You ride it aggressively, it just glides over everything. Let's take it down this road, which is notoriously bumpy. So, get on the power, get the speed up, hit all the bumps. Nothing. It just feels like you're on a perfectly smooth road. It's so much fun, and it's so chuckable, and it's so agile and aggressive. And once you get it on cam, once the VVS system kicks in, you can actually see a little green light up here when it gets on the performance cam. Oh, the engine just comes alive. You have to have the correct engine temperature, and you have to be about 5,500 RPM. But man, does it deliver the power, the top end grunt. Torque is good, comes in early, power is good, you have a lot of top end. The scooter makes a lot of compromises, but the end package, if you're gonna actually use it for what it's intended, that means exploring, proper off-road, then this is kind of the best machine out on the market. If you're just gonna use it to ride around the city, you don't need everything it has. Yes, I know it costs about as much as an ADV 350, and the Zonta 360 AG is actually quite a lot cheaper, but those are regular scooters with just lifted suspension. This thing is bespoke for off-road. Straight from the factory, it comes with a motorcycle-style geometry, motorcycle weight distribution, motorcycle-style suspension, and there is no way in hell. It doesn't matter what kind of wizardry you do with your shock absorbers. It doesn't matter what brand name of forks you have. You can have your Showa, your WP. I don't care. You cannot bend the laws of physics. Physics are still physics. If you have all of that unsprung weight on the back wheel, the suspension isn't gonna soak up the bumps properly. This thing doesn't. It moves everything inboard, and thus compromising the fuel tank size, the underseat storage size, the height of the middle tunnel. It is actually quite a bit of work to get on this thing. You kind of have to mount it as a regular motorcycle. But honestly, once you do, it's wonderful. And if you're gonna use it for what its intended purpose is, then you're gonna have a great time. Now we are gonna do a comparison between this thing and the 368G. And I'm gonna go into more detail and explain to you exactly what's the difference between this and the 368G. Let's get another look at it before we end the video. And in that video, hopefully everyone will understand why these things, I don't think they are competitors in the market, but this thing has its special place in the market for that special rider that really wants to do off-road on a scooter. So, for now, this has been it on the ADX TG. Hopefully you enjoyed this little ride around the yard, this little explanation on how this suspension setup on the back works and why is it so important. And if you test ride one, please don't ride it gently. Push it. push it, have fun with it, get it up to some speed, and that's when you're gonna understand the balance, the weight distribution, everything the engineers thought about doing on this thing. It's absolutely magical the way it rides. It's not for everyone. It's not your everyday commuter scooter. This is a bespoke precision tool, kind of like a surgeon's scalpel. This isn't your regular butter knife. This is a precision scalpel made for a precise kind of activity. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, take care out there everyone, and ride safe. Bye!